The first ever gender-based violence survey conducted by the Human Sciences Research Council in 2022 reveals that over 33% of South African women have experienced physical violence in their lifetime, while 9.8% have faced sexual violence. Approximately 7.3 million women have experienced a physical abuse, while 2.1 million have experienced sexual violations. Tears Foundation is a woman-led non-profit organization that was founded in 2012. The organization provides access to crisis intervention, advocacy, counselling, and prevention education services for those impacted by rape, domestic violence, and child sexual abuse. Being a survivor of gender-based violence herself, the founder, Mara Glennie, is extremely passionate about the cause.
Welcome to another inspiring episode of Stories Untold, as we mark 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The immediate needs of survivors are more than psychological and legal support. However, in most cases, the support is inaccessible. It is organizations like the Tears Foundation who stand in the gap to provide support.
I didn't actually realize that I was in an abusive relationship. It's one of those things, I guess it's the frog in the pot of boiling water. It gets hotter and hotter, and you don't realize. I was in the unfortunate position that my husband had taken a mistress, and when I had said I would stop funding him because I was the breadwinner, he actually took his revenge on me. And so I was unfortunately waterboarded, which was very, very traumatic for me. One of the things that I found as a survivor, and I've been working with survivors for the last 13 years, is that people don't believe that the person they're telling their story to understands the pain they're going through, the rejection they feel. And so one has to help them regain their personal dignity. When someone calls our helpline, we don't just answer the call. We try to help them understand that healing is a personal decision. Nobody can do it for you. And in saying that, it doesn't mean you have to forgive the perpetrator. What it means is you have to forgive yourself for being in that situation. When I was in the police station, I asked myself what I needed. So that was the very first service that I developed. I developed a service that anybody could use anywhere in South Africa, and that's really important, for free. But I realized after a few months of operating that it wasn't enough. I realized that people would need immediate help or they would need a callback. So we added another 2 aspects to that service. The one is call me back tomorrow, because we realized that the person might be in the close proximity of her perpetrator, or it might be a youth who doesn't want her parents to know she's in trouble yet. We do always urge them to tell their parents. And then the other one is she's in a life-threatening situation and she needs help right now. And so an operator answers that call and will call them back within a couple of seconds, literally seconds, and send someone to help them.
My team and I, we are the ones responsible for dealing directly with our clients. So we're the ones behind the emails, behind the SMSs, behind the WhatsApps and the Facebooks and the messages. So our main thing is providing the service that Tears Foundation provides, hope and healing. So what we do is we provide comprehensive information and support to clients and provide them with tailored services that apply to their situation. There is no one situation fits all. There's no copy-paste answer. Everyone's circumstances are different. Their constitution is different. Whether or not they have kids, if they want to leave, they want to stay, maintenance, divorce, all these things are factors that contribute to how we help someone.
I've been with the foundation for about 3 years now. I also have a psychology background. I did my undergraduate in psychology, my honors in psychology, and I went to register thereafter with a board for counselors in order to be able to continue to do the work that I do.
So the big part of Tears is we walk that journey with you.
Every day you come in with a chance to either save someone's life or at least change someone's life in a little bit. So the calls keep coming in, the messages via social media, which has become the new medium these days and age. Everyone is on social media.
Sometimes a journey with a client lasts 3 weeks. Someone calls us, they need assistance, we do a referral and they're good. And they're like, thank you so much. I'm continuing with my counselling or this or that and I'm good. Thank you so much. Sometimes it's years. We have cases on our file that were open in 2019 and 2018. These are long stories about getting someone out of a relationship, about helping them get custody of their kids, about going through a divorce. I think a lot of people have this idea that when you leave, the situation is done with. Now you know everything's great now. But actually stats have shown that the point that you leave an abusive situation, for the next 2 years, you're actually at your most vulnerable. Because so many things change. Finances change, relationship change. You've changed as a person. So it's really important that we have that constant contact with our clients to ensure that they're okay. When it comes to finances and leaving an abusive relationship, it's complicated. Finances are hard. And financial abuse is very prevalent. So it becomes a greater conversation. It becomes, okay, what can you do? Were you previously working? Do you have any qualifications to work? Maybe let's organize a social grant for you and see how far that can take you. Let's maybe work in getting you into a shelter. And shelters are really great. The really good ones have a lot of social workers that provide additional care, like job seeking, like working on your CV, skills training, to upskill you so that you can have a life afterwards. It's not just hopping from shelter to shelter or trying to make ends meet and make a plan. So we work with you with your situation. We try and make a plan. We'll talk to social workers regarding SASSA grants. We'll talk to social workers regarding employment opportunities. We'll try to refer you to the right shelter. It's all just a journey.
Every case is different. It may share similarities, but it is different, and that's how we treat it.
Gender-based violence also leaves survivors exposed, homeless, and vulnerable. The Cradle of Hope provides a safe haven until they can get back on their feet.
Often when a woman has been abused or has been in an abusive relationship, one of the hardest things is for them to leave. International statistics tell us women attempt to leave 8 times before they finally leave. So one of the things that we do is we help people create an exit plan, because if they execute an exit plan, they are starting to prepare their minds, their bodies, their soul for leaving. So an exit plan could include things like finding all the statutory documents that relate to your life. It could be your marriage certificate, it could be your children's birth certificate, it could be the lease of the house, your car papers, whatever they are. So once the person has assembled all those papers, we always suggest start to pack a few items. Go around your home and look at things that are important to you. It might be your first baby's photo. It could be anything, but that's meaningful for you. Identify them. And then you start, and if you've got children, we recommend that when you go to your parents' house or a friend's house, you start to leave a few things. Because unfortunately, quite often, escaping from a bad relationship is a life-threatening situation.
Candace, the general manager at the Cradle of Hope, illustrated how they work hand in hand with the Tears Foundation.
As we know, the statistics of GBV have escalated dramatically, and it's a viral trending word. But the reality of it is something that the Tears Foundation and we deal with on a daily basis. So we have a close collaboration where they will call us, reach out for assistance, reach out for advice, and we do the same for them. We assist women who are directly or indirectly coming out of abuse. Many vulnerable women in the community, young girls, mothers who have been abandoned, thrown out by their husbands, often phone us. We get phone calls from all over the country. We get referrals from the courts. We get hospitals phoning us, desperate for a place for somebody who has nowhere to go. Trauma is something that is deeply ingrained in many people. Horror stories that you hear in the newspaper, we have seen many of those walk through the door. Police dropping women off at our gates at 10 o'clock at night where the woman has just been brutally sexually assaulted. still covered in blood. There's nowhere to take her. We have had cases of mothers running in fear of their lives with their children in their arms because the husband was literally sitting with a gun to her head and about to murder her and the children. We have seen the other side of that. We have seen 11-year-old girls who again have been dragged into a veld, and years later they tell us that they've matriculated. It always gives us hope.
Two of the survivors currently residing at the Cradle of Hope shared their experience with us.
I went through a gang rape, and that's when I started having anger issues, and they couldn't understand what was going on.
I was in a relationship for 6 years, living on the streets, and also a recovering drug addict. My abuser was very violent. He loved biting. I've got over 62 bite marks on my body. There wasn't a moment or a day where I didn't get beaten. Blue eyes, to the point where he fractured my skull, my ribs. It was daily, I used to have to stand the robot where he used to force me to stand if I didn't make enough money. There were a couple of times where I tried to run and get help. I went to safe homes, but within 2 months he had gotten hold of me and threatened me to come back. He threatened my life, he threatened to get hold of my family, he threatened to kill me on a daily basis. Because I suffer from asthma and because I wear glasses, he used to target that. If I wanted to run, he would take my asthma pump and puncture it so that I couldn't run. Or he would take my glasses and smash my glasses. Also, tear my clothes to make me, ridicule me so that I wouldn't run.
I met a man while I was in high school that literally helped me with everything and gave me the support that I couldn't even get at home, which for that time as a teenager, it is very tricky for you because you feel that someone that actually gives you what you don't get at home or anywhere, you feel like you have found the person that understands you, not knowing that it would turn out to be the nightmare of my life.
He was supposed to be my savior, my saving grace, my shining armor on a white horse coming to save the day, because I went through a hard time with my addiction, lost family members and so forth. So he was supposed to be there to help me through everything.
The night that ripped me off emotionally, it was a night where I wanted to go visit my cousin, and he literally went on my social media, blocked everyone, saw at everyone, and he wanted to sleep with me while the baby was awake, and I told him we can't do that, and he literally started punching me and told me I'm gonna rip those clothes off. Then I started packing my things. I'm like, I'm done. He took everything, put them in a bath, opened the tap water so that I couldn't take anything with me, and he locked all doors, started sharpening a knife and telling me that this is the end, that's it. If you wanna get out of this relationship, then it means that you literally have to die. Then I was like, that's not gonna happen. You can't keep doing this in front of a child, and I no longer feel safe with you, because every time we have an argument or something happens, the only measure you take is abusing me, literally beating me up, and then the next morning I must understand that you were angry or you were sad about a certain event that happened. So at that night, he ripped my clothes off, tried, and I fought so hard. I fought him. And as soon as I managed to put him on the floor, I ran to the back door. Then he ran after me, still hitting me with a bottle, and it broke on my head and the scar here. So he literally hit me to a pulp in a passage where no one could literally hear me. And when I woke up in Para, and they told me that you were admitted, you were found by a group of ladies, and I couldn't even see. My whole face was swollen, everything. I couldn't remember anything from that night, and the first thing that I asked about was my child. Where's my child? Where's the guy? They said the police went there, but he ran away.
He would get his job back, but then he didn't want to leave me at home alone, so he used to lock me up. Believe that I had left the house and contacted my family, so when he would get home, he would beat me up. I couldn't even cook. I couldn't even clean properly. In the middle of the night while we're sleeping, 3 o'clock in the morning, I would wake up with the fact that he's beating me, kicking me, and biting me. I had flesh wounds where I needed to go to clinic or to emergency, and he wouldn't allow me because he was worried he was going to get arrested. So he used to super glue my wounds closed. As painful as it was, him trying to super glue, I would still get beaten up because I'm crying.
It's so funny how society tells you to speak out, reach out for help, and when things like this happen, we find a lot of women losing their lives because no one was there to help. The first thing you get is, why were you there? So at some point, I just decided, that's it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore, and I left home. I left a letter telling her that I'm going to kill myself and the kids. So on my way there, it was raining, and there was a woman that was passing by with an umbrella rushing to go to the taxi. So it was like near the bridge, and then there's taxis passing there. Then she came to me, she's like, what are you doing here with kids? It's raining. Are you guys okay? Because I can see that you are crying. Then I was like, no, we're fine. She's like, no, I can see you're not okay. Can I please maybe take you guys to a certain shelter, and then you explain what is wrong? Maybe I could be able to help you. From the moment we called, we were answered with grace. We were answered with, softness, and the lady that was behind the call was willing to listen to me, and I explained I'm at a friend's place and I just met this lady yesterday. I'm desperate for a place to stay, and within a few minutes she called and said, do you have money for transport to come here? And the lady was like, yeah, I'm gonna bolt her. Then they were like, you can come anytime from now, we'll be expecting you. And for the first time in my life, I came to a place where I didn't feel like an outsider. I didn't feel like I have to tell half of my story because I'll be judged. Since I came here, I was offered a warm bed with my kids, and within a week they were sent to school, and we were given clothes, everything. Like, we were given the support, and I started attending Bible study.
Coming here, you feel a sense of love, acceptance, and nobody judges you. And when I got here, I didn't realize how many other women have lived exact same story. And that gave me a sense of peace that I'm in the right place.
The Tears Foundation provides more than shelter and psychological support for survivors of GBV. They go as far as preparing comfort packs for survivors.
Currently, we are busy doing our 16 Days of Activism Comfort Bag Initiative, as you can see in the background. So the Comfort Bag Initiative, or Comfort Bag Day Packing Initiative, more precisely, is basically where this year we wanted to get people more on the ground, sort of involved, hands-on. So we've invited some of our clients, some of our sponsors to come and pack the bags themselves. And each bag then goes to a rape victim. So we have men, female, and baby bags especially. They get essential items such as roll-on, pads, toothbrush, toothpaste, food items, things like that. And then we distribute them to the FCS units at the police stations or to Tutusela centers at the hospitals. The sad reality of rape in our country is it's on a rise, it keeps increasing. We're the rape capital of the world, or just about in the top 3. And so when a rape victim comes into a police station or they come into a hospital, whichever one first, and they want to report something, what tends to happen is all of their clothes, any belongings that they have tends to get taken for evidence. So for DNA sampling, for testing. So they're often left in vulnerable positions. So the comfort bag, instead of a rape bag, it's to provide comfort for the victims. It gets quite emotional seeing which items gets packed. People can understand the woman bags, pads, clothing, underwear, but then when you take a men's comfort bag, it also has sanitary pads. And then people obviously ask questions, why? And the reality is even men who get raped can also bleed, they can also discharge, and it can happen. They could get drugged, they could get spiked. It's not just whether they're weak or some masculinity ideology.
The survivors were given the opportunity to offer words of gratitude.
This place has taught me so much. I am now a night facilitator of the Cradle of Hope, and within that journey, I have learned so much. I've learned grace.
When I got here, I remember it took me a year before I could even walk into a shop. That's how broken I was. I didn't believe I could even go into a shop to go buy anything. So my confidence was really broken, and it took me a lot of counselling, a lot of uplifting, a lot of self-love, pushing through daily. It does get hard where you think, okay, this is not for me, let me just rather go back. You know, that's where the self-sabotage kicks in, because you've been brainwashed by a narcissist for so long that no one's going to accept you. No one's going to even look at you because you're worthless. I've found an identity that I didn't even know I had. My confidence. Like I said, someone believing in me, that is the most empowering feeling ever. Then you know you grow as a person and you find out who you really are. Women don't realize that they're worth it. So I want all the women to know they are worth it and they deserve it. They deserve to be independent and just to shine.
Starting your journey of healing doesn't mean you are weak. Being vulnerable doesn't mean that you are weak. Once you get help, talk to someone, try to go on social media, search for places that could literally help you get, there is a lot of facilities that deal with this, that deal with depression. Most of young mothers face depression because they don't have anyone to help them or teach them how to even raise those little babies that they have. And literally the first step is to forgive themselves and stop the self-blaming, stop thinking that because you are a young mom, it's the end of the world. It's not, it's actually the beginning.
They saved my life, so I'm very grateful. I'm now living on my own for the first time in my own place. So they've given me a second chance to laugh.
Each and every day we do our blessings. You write your blessings, we sit around the table and you mention things that you are grateful for. And for me, sometimes I break down reading my blessings because those are the things I used to pray for a year ago. So this place has changed me, has literally made me a totally different woman, a woman that I would have always wished to be. When you look at all these things that are being offered here, like when you go to a normal life coach out there, they would charge you like so much money. You would get charged for parenting skills, you get charged for any skills programs that you attend. Like, I am proud of myself for coming up this far, and I can never be grateful enough for this organization.
It is organizations like TS Foundation who acknowledge that everyone has a right to dignity and humanity, and they go a long way to provide and help to restore the dignity of survivors who have been violated. From all of us at Stories Untold, see you next week, same place, same time.